powerful earthquake has killed hundreds and caused serious damage in Afghanistan and Pakistan. $350 million have been invested towards a new shopping mall in Woodland Hills. Dog owners take their costume pets trick-or-treating in Long Beach.
This is Valley View News.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Jacqueline Serrano.
And I'm Arnolfo Romero.
The U.S. Geological Survey says nearly 200 people were killed in a powerful earthquake that struck Afghanistan and Pakistan. The 7.5 magnitude quake destroyed many buildings and triggered landslides. The following footage includes graphic content. Police say 12 schoolgirls were killed in a stampede in northern Afghanistan as they tried to evacuate their school. Nearly 1,000 people have been hurt, and the death toll is expected to climb. The epicenter was in far northeastern Afghanistan, and its depth was over 130 miles. The USGS says an earthquake of this magnitude requires widespread national and regional level response.
Working in the sun can be dangerous during the hot weather we've had in Southern California. Construction workers face dangers not only from the many job hazards they work with, but also from the sun. Valley View reporter Juanique Elliott has more on the story.
For hard-hat workers, hot, humid working conditions are a fact of life. Workers wearing heavy protective apparel on the job feel the heat no matter what the weather. Nearly 6.5 million people work at approximately 252,000 construction sites across the nation. The fatal injury rate for the construction industry is higher than the national average. General Supervisor Jesus Castro explains some of the dangers there are working in construction.
Every day we come out here, we're gotta be dealing with existing power lines, underground gas lines, underground oil, active gasoline, and petroleum. So every day we're dealing with power, gas, and oil, and sometimes it's marked wrong. So if we hit it, it will be a big disaster in this neighborhood.
These power and gas lines you're looking at aren't the only dangerous things about their job. The heat can also play a deadly factor that is not listed in their job description.
How heat affects the body, your body temperature is 98 degrees. And when obviously you've got hot weather, your body has to regulate your body heat. And so how our body works is by perspiring, you perspire, that sweat then evaporates. And when the sweat evaporates off your body, that's how you stay cool.
Constant sun exposure may be unavoidable at times. However, workers must stay hydrated, wear protective gear, and take frequent breaks. In Granada Hills, Juanique Elliott, Valley View News.
A woman is facing 4 second-degree murder charges after allegedly driving her car into a crowd at Oklahoma State University's homecoming parade. Officials say Adacia Chambers is under suspicion for driving under the influence when she ran over and killed 4 people. Among those killed were a 23-year-old woman, a married couple, and a 2-year-old boy. Chambers' attorney says his client was sober.
There didn't appear to be the smell of alcohol coming from her body. Her behavior was not consistent with someone who was coming off of a drunken stupor.
The mother of the 2-year-old was released from the hospital. People donated nearly $35,000 to help pay for her son's funeral.
Despite its powerful winds, Hurricane Patricia caused less damage than was expected. There have not been any reported deaths to date. The U.S. National Hurricane Center considered Patricia one of the strongest hurricanes ever in the Western Hemisphere. But when the hurricane hit the mountains in Mexico, the giant storm diminished quickly. Mexican authorities report that about 3,500 homes were damaged or destroyed, and at least 1,900 acres of crops were ruined by winds.
20 inches of rain have covered parts of Texas and broke some rain records in the Lone Star State. Flood warnings were also issued in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Houston Mayor Anise Parker spoke at a press conference.
We are going to have heavy rain region-wide, and just as a fact of the geography that we deal with here, that depending on how fast that rain comes down, we know there will be some high water incidents.
Houston broke a daily rainfall record with 5.5 inches, more than doubling the previous record of 2 inches. Wind along the Gulf Coast prompted advisories, with gusts reaching more than 50 miles an hour. Flash floods forced the closure of nearly a dozen roads.
A whale-watching boat has sunk off the western coast of Canada. 5 people died on the boat, called the Leviathan II. It sank in calm waters about 8 miles west of Vancouver Island. British Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond confirmed the victims were Britons. 21 people were rescued before the search was called off. Authorities are investigating the cause of the accident.
Some say it's a one-stop shop. Others say it's great for social gatherings. An open-air shopping and dining destination has opened in Woodland Hills. Valley View News reporter Sarah Vaughn takes us there.
There's a new mall in town, and many people are taking notice. It's called The Village at Westfield Topanga. The 550,000 square foot shopping center is located across the street from Topanga Plaza. The center opened its doors in September, even though some restaurants are still under construction. But that hasn't stopped Anissa Washington from coming for her second time.
I like how all of their seats, they're very unique, and all of their shops, most of these shops, I've never been there before, and it's so interesting. I love the carriages.
Why?
Because it makes me feel like I'm Cinderella.
Vice President of Development Larry Green says the center offers customers something to do from morning to night.
You know, there's a lot of fun here. We have pop jet fountains that people can play in and interact with that dance to light and music. We have a water scrim that allows you to walk on water. We've got this great koi pond sitting over here, which has koi and plants and landscaping. And then we have a dynamite kids play space. We have bocce ball courts, outdoor fire pits, wonderful art throughout the project. So there's a lot of amenities for folks in addition to all these great retailers. I hope that this is more of a fabric of the community type of destination versus you know, some of the other shopping centers that have been built, which are really more tourist oriented. This is something we think is for the neighborhood, by the neighborhood, and hopefully connects on that level with people.
Visitors can enjoy music playing throughout the center from Cal State Northridge's radio station. The Village has 80 stores and 17 restaurants, including a Costco and a 24-hour fitness. Westfield has reported that over 1.5 million people have visited the center, and they expect that number to rise this upcoming holiday season. Among the many retailers, Blushington is a makeup and beauty lounge that offers affordable services to men and women. CEO and founder Stephanie Marin calls the Village a lifestyle mall.
I love this Village. I'm typically a Santa Monica girl and I go to WeHo a lot, but they've done such an amazing job at the center.
Visitors get 1 hour of free parking if they park in the garage structure. After that hour, rates can range from $1 to $14. Westfield says the cost is comparable to their office neighbors. However, many retailers do offer validations. There is also a free trolley service that will transport visitors to and from the Village and Topanga Plaza. In Woodland Hills, I'm Sarah Vaughn, Valley View News.
An elaborate smuggling tunnel has been found beneath the U.S.-Mexico border in Otay Mesa. The tunnel was equipped with railroad tracks, electrical lights, and a ventilation system. The tunnel is about 32 feet underground and runs almost 3,000 feet. It links a warehouse in Tijuana, Mexico, with another in San Diego. Authorities say they have arrested 22 people and recovered 12 tons of marijuana. More than 80 smuggling tunnels have been discovered between Mexico and the United States since 2006.
California's proposed $68 billion bullet train faces many challenges with delays and rising costs. Students at California State University Northridge spoke with Valley View News reporter Jordan Salceda. Some were in favor of the project while others were not.
I think so because it's more efficient than air travel. Like, it's a lot quicker. It's also more affordable. And also public transportation, it helps the environment as well.
We do need a bullet train because I actually travel up north a lot and I take the Greyhound. And sometimes that, you know, that ride can be very long depending on how far you're going.
It's cost effective because it takes a lot of gas, it takes a lot of miles on your car, and a lot of people need to make that trip to go back home from school or sometimes for business trips.
There are a lot more productive things that we could be using our money for than a bullet train when we all have other forms of transportation.
It's a lot of other stuff that they should be spending that money on. Resources for the community, that's what they need.
The project is still in the planning stage.
The World Health Organization says that eating too much processed meat and red meat can lead to cancer. It classified processed meat like hot dogs as a human carcinogen. The WHO lists red meat as probably a carcinogen. How the meat is cooked also seems to matter. The study showed that grilling, pan frying, and other high-temperature ways of cooking meat are more likely to produce cancer-causing chemicals. The meat industry says cancer is a complex disease and cannot be caused by a single food item.
College can cause a lot of stress, and some students deal with it by overeating.
Joanna Guzman is in Studio B with CSUN's registered diet nutritionist, Professor Lori Cole, with some tips on how to keep a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you. Joining me today is Professor Lori Cole from the Family Consumer Science Department. She is a registered dietitian nutritionist. Thank you for being here today.
And it's my pleasure.
Okay, so our first question is, what is College 15?
Oh, the College 15. That's actually a little bit of a myth. It was a phrase that was coined some years ago because when students first came to college, now they were out of their home, they were living on their own, and they tend to gain some weight in the first year or two of college. The truth is it's usually more between 3 and 10 pounds. The 15 pound was just an arbitrary number that they came up with when they coined the phrase. But it doesn't always happen, and when it does, it's not usually as much as 15 pounds.
Okay, what do you think it is about the college life that leads to gaining weight?
Well, as I said, students are now out on their own. So they're in charge of their own food, their own diet. And of course, there's a certain amount of freedom that comes with that, and a lot of decision making that comes with them. And so with just starting college, they may be a little bit more stressed, so they don't tend to eat the way they did at home. And so that's why they tend to put on some weight, because they tend to eat a little bit more junk food, things that they can grab quick and go and maybe keep in their dorms.
How do you think students can prevent from gaining weight?
Well, education is the key. And as a matter of fact, I'm so glad you asked me that, because I teach a class called Peer Nutrition Counseling. And so we have peer nutrition counselors here on campus, either at the Klotz Health Center or the new beautiful Oasis Lounge that we have. And you can make an appointment. It is free, and you can meet with a peer nutrition counselor, and you can get a little bit of an education as to how to improve your diet. What are the pitfalls of some of the packed foods, and where to go on campus. All the various campus nutrition type foods that you can get, and they are available.
How many hours a day do you think students should sleep?
That's very important as well. You know, people just think that it's just about what you eat, but getting a good 7-8 hours of sleep a night is really important, because when you don't sleep enough, you tend to be more hungry, you'll grab whatever you can, and then you start piling on the calories and you start piling on the pounds.
And then not only sleep, but also working out is important, correct?
Oh, exercise is a huge important factor when it comes to maintaining your weight and your health. It's not just about your weight and what you look like, it's about your health and your risk for disease. So it's really important that you exercise routinely. Now, you get a lot of exercise walking around the campus, but we have a wonderful, the SRC is an absolutely wonderful gym and wonderful people over there that can help you to get into a good exercise program.
Okay, so you are a registered dietitian, diet nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
What do you recommend is a good diet to keep you away from gaining weight?
Well, you know, it's really pretty simple in a lot of ways, because it's about calories in versus calories out. If you eat more calories than you burn up, you will gain weight. If you eat less calories than you burn up, obviously you will lose weight. So besides that, it's also the quality of the calories. So we want you to have half a plate. If you go to My Plate, look at the My Plate symbol that we have at www.choosemyplate.gov. You'll see that we recommend that you have half of your plate be filled with fruits and vegetables. And then a quarter of your plate should be with grains, preferably whole grains. And that's something that we miss out a lot in with processed foods. We tend to eat refined grains, which is a lot of empty calories. We want students to be looking for nutrient-dense foods as opposed to calorie-dense foods, because calorie-dense foods don't give you the as much of the energy and the other important compounds that are in foods that can also help you think. And talking about thinking, make sure you have breakfast every day. We have studies that show that students who have breakfast, especially prior to an exam, do better on exams. So eat your fruits and vegetables. Try to pick out whole grains as opposed to refined grains. Get enough sleep at night. Exercise a minimum of 30 minutes a day.
Great. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for all your valuable information.
It's my pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you in our studio. Back to you.
Thank you. Halloween is not the only tradition celebrated this time of year. Valley View News reporter Jacqueline Serrano went to the 16th annual Day of the Dead event in Hollywood and tells us all about it.
Crossing from the world of the living into the world of the dead, thousands went to the nation's largest Dia de los Muertos event at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. The event celebrates a pre-Hispanic tradition started by indigenous tribes in Mexico, and many are happy to be able to celebrate the festivities in Los Angeles.
It's nice that other people get to see our culture, and it's a beautiful thing that they want to participate because it's every ethnicity that you can think of here.
To me, it's just kind of taking it to the next level and celebrating with thousands of other people that all feel the same way, and we want to celebrate those that we love. And it's beautiful, it's colorful, and it's beautiful.
They came ready to welcome the spirits with their faces painted, half representing the living and the other representing the dead, a holiday that often gets confused with the one we celebrate here on October 31st.
We're not Halloween, like this is our culture, like this is what we do every year, and it's not one day where we dress up.
One of the most popular customs are the altars that are filled with food and other items honoring and guiding spirits back to their relatives. As daylight began to fade, the sound of the drums echoed throughout the crowd as the Huichol tribe performed a shamanic ritual that connected those seen and unseen. As the celebration continued into the night, people made sure that the lives of the 43 students in Ayotzinapa, Guerrero did not go forgotten.
They are my people, and what happened a year ago is unfortunate.
The theme of the night was to celebrate. Dancing and eating traditional dishes, people of all ages came together and shared food and laughter. Now this is just a preview of the actual holiday that's celebrated on November 2nd throughout Latin America. In Hollywood, I'm Jacqueline Serrano for Valley View News.
A farewell festival was held for LA's iconic 6th Street Bridge. The bridge will be torn down next year and rebuilt in 2019. The new bridge will cost $428 million. The 6th Street Bridge has been featured in many, many movies like Grease, Terminator 2, and all the Fast and Furious movies. The bridge connects the Los Angeles Downtown Arts District and Boyle Heights. The bridge was opened in 1932, but its concrete has deteriorated to the point that it must be replaced.
FedEx says it should be making more shipments this holiday season than it did last year. It expects to deliver 317 million packages between Black Friday and Christmas Eve. That is an increase of 12.4% over last year. FedEx says it expects 3 especially busy days, Cyber Monday and the first 2 Mondays in December.
It's fun for family and your four-legged friends. Valley View News reporter Ala Arabi tells us about a special Halloween celebration.
Think humans are the only ones who celebrate Halloween? Think again. The SPCA LA Animal Village and Education Center gave dogs an opportunity to come out and play, show their agility on the equipment, and show off their adorable costumes. This pooch is dressed up as a Starbucks Frappuccino, in case you were wondering.
At SPCA LA, we like to create events that are for pets and their companions. So we want them to come out and spend the day with their animal and, take a moment to maybe try some agility and see if that's something they might like to take as a class, or talk to some of our vendors about nutrition and health of their dogs.
Dogs could bob for apples or stop by one of the several trick-or-treating stations. And if they show a trick, they get a treat. There were lots of dogs at the event, which meant the SPCA LA had to make sure they stayed cool and comfortable.
Sit.
It's the middle of October, but it's still a pretty hot day today, which is why they have bowls like this placed throughout the event to keep the dogs hydrated.
And of course they had to be. Some of them had a costume competition to win. Aside from hosting events to benefit dogs, the SPCA LA Village and Animal Shelter is known for other good things.
They take care of them so well here too. That's what I liked about this particular shelter. It's, being a no-kill shelter, and they really take good care of the dogs.
After the winners of the costume contest were announced, everyone got to go home with a goodie bag, so everyone was a winner. Looks like we're not the only ones who get into the Halloween spirit. In Long Beach, Ala Erby, Valley View News.
When we return, find out which college football coach has been fired. Minnesota Timberwolves head coach has lost his battle with cancer.
And there have been a few surprises with some of the nation's top college football teams.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Let's switch over to Nick Popham in sports. The NBA has lost one of its coaches to cancer.
Unfortunately, it's true, Jacqueline. Thank you. Minnesota Timberwolves head coach Flip Saunders has died at the age of 60 after battle with cancer. Saunders was an NBA veteran of 17 NBA seasons, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Saunders coached the Timberwolves for 11 separate seasons and 2 separate stints. He led his team to the playoffs 8 seasons in a row, and he specialized in coaching point guards. Saunders tallied more than 1,000 victories over a 35-year coaching career. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in trouble, and the NBA season is just starting. Several of their players have suffered injuries, including one of them being their strongest player, LeBron James. James was deactivated after suffering back problems, and recently showed positive signs of improvement during practice. But an orthopedic surgeon says if James doesn't improve in the next 6 months, he could face surgery. The Houston Texans have lost their star running back for the season. Arian Foster tore his Achilles tendon during the 4th quarter of the Texans game against the Miami Dolphins. As soon as the ball was snapped, Foster started running his route and immediately fell to the turf. He then began grabbing his leg and was then helped off the field. This is the second time Foster has been injured this year. And to make it worse, the Texans ended up losing to the Dolphins 44-26 and are now 2-5 on the season. The University of Miami at Florida has decided they don't want to stay golden. The Hurricanes have fired their head football coach, Al Golden. This comes following the 58-0 loss to Clemson, putting Miami's overall record on the year at 4-3. Golden's record during his tenure as head coach was 32-22. The team hasn't made a major bowl game since 2003 and hasn't won a national championship since 2001. There have been some big changes at the top of the college football polls. The main changes come from the University of Utah and Florida State University, both losing for the first time this season. Utah, ranked number 3, lost to USC 42-24. Florida State lost when a Georgia Tech player blocked a field goal and returned it 78 yards for a touchdown. FSU was 9th in the country. And along with this, Baylor University lost its star quarterback for the season in Seth Russell when he fractured a bone in his neck. The Bears will now rely on freshman backup Jared Stidham to keep their undefeated record alive. So let's hope Arian Foster has a speedy recovery, and same for those injured Cavalier players. That's it for sports. Back to you.
When we come back, Adele makes a noteworthy return with her first hit in 3 years. Justin Bieber went home with a lot of awards at the European Music Awards.
A film director and the New York City Police Union are feuding over the director's appearance at a police rally.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Now let's send it over to Wanique Elliott. Adele said hello to the world again.
Yeah, but we'll get to that soon. A pet grooming salon in the San Fernando Valley hosted a special Halloween event for four-legged creatures. Valley View News reporter Arnulfo Romero caught a glimpse of this event.
Pet owners and animal lovers came to a Halloween event inspired by a traditional German celebration. Dogtoberfest was hosted by a Woodland Hills dog salon for the first time. Elizabeth Gonzalez, the owner of Grooming Salon, put together the event in hopes of raising money for dogs in need.
This event is very important to me because we get to raise money to donate to West Valley Animal Shelter to help out, all the homeless dogs and helping them for food, for blankets and vaccines and spays and neuters.
Dogs of different breeds, shapes, sizes showed their Halloween spirit. Different forms of entertainment were offered, including dog decorations, adding some color to Dogtoberfest. Donnell Schmoldes of It's Perfect, a pet service business from Westlake Village, explains the type of decorations she puts on dogs.
So this will last just a wash. Basically, whatever is safe on our children is safe for our pets. So even my dyes that I use, my semi-permanent dye, everything's safe for our pets if it's safe for our kids.
A dog costume contest also took place. Dogs strutted their creative costumes ranging from Jake from State Farm to Ewoks from the Star Wars franchise. The attendees cheered the trio of dogs dressed as Ewoks as they won the costume contest. Elizabeth Gonzalez hopes to see her event become an annual tradition for the Woodland Hills community.
We've had a really good turnout so far, and I would like to continue to raise money to donate to West Valley Animal Shelter.
The traditional Oktoberfest is now something that our furry friends can celebrate as well. In Woodland Hills, I'm Arnulfo Romero for Valley View News.
An Academy Award-winning filmmaker is at odds with the New York City Police Union. Quentin Tarantino joined hundreds of demonstrators in New York City in a protest that was critical of police. Tarantino stated that he believes people need to rise up and stand up against police brutality, and that he is on the side of what he called the murdered. New York City's police union called for a boycott of Tarantino's film after the director made a statement in the protest. The event was the last of 3 demonstrations the group Rise Up October organized in New York. While police were present all along the protest route, no arrests were reported. Adele is back with her first single in over 3 years. Within 24 hours of its release, the new ballad Hello received more than 23 million views. Adele has officially broken the 24-hour Vivo Music Award record, beating Taylor Swift. The British singer describes her upcoming November album, 25, as a makeup record and apologizes for her 3-year absence from the music scene. The 2015 MTV European Music Awards brought out the stars. Justin Bieber made an impression by winning 5 awards, including Best Male, Best Look, and Best Collaboration. Other award winners include Macklemore, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, and Nicki Minaj. The Martian, starring Matt Damon, has once again landed #1 at the box office. It's been there for 4 weeks in a row. The film has been an estimated $166 million total. Goosebumps took the #2 spot, making $15 million. Bridge of Spies rounded out the top 3 with $11 million. Steve Jobs fell short, making $7.3 million. It was expected to double that amount at its opening weekend. I kind of thought Steve Jobs would have done better because of all the publicity he was getting. Well, we'll see where it goes next week. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Anik. Thank you for watching this edition of Valley View News. I'm Arnulfo Romero.
And I'm Jacqueline Serrano. Have a great day.